Let's talk about unconditional love and how that can facilitate intrinsic motivation. So, first off, what is unconditional love? This is love that doesn't hinge on the results of a game that their kid plays or even a test score or their behavior. So, even if they're acting out, the parents can still exhibit their love for the kid. And what this does is the child always feels like they have a safety net, someone who loves them even when they slip up. Is there anything you want to add on that like definition?
No, that makes sense to me.
Do you want to explain what intrinsic motivation is, how we can notice that in children?
Sure. Um, my mind goes to the love of the game
Hmm.
when we talk about intrinsic motivation. It's an inner fire, and you contrast that, Gabe, with extrinsic motivation. And when we think about extrinsic, we think about trophies or scholarships, maybe, or MVP awards,
Yeah.
things that are outside. And while there's arguments for both motivational sources, intrinsic and extrinsic, it is a safe argument to say intrinsic motivation, that inner fire, is more sustainable, more long lasting. And so if I were to err on a side, I think about intrinsic motivation.
Yeah, I agree. I think not only the longevity piece of intrinsic motivation, but also it's a healthier motivation because when athletes are motivated to beat other people, to achieve status, achieve money, hardware, this can create a lot more tension because now there's uncontrollable factors at play of these other competitors, maybe contracts and negotiations they can't handle. However, it's also worth noting extrinsic motivation is so powerful. We're not saying that it doesn't help athletes be their best. I think a lot of Olympians become what they are because they want that gold medal. They want that status, the fame. But like you said, intrinsic motivation, it's clear that we can err on that being the safer of the two and something that we want to facilitate. There will always be both types of motivation in athletes, and we're talking about how we can tip the scales towards the healthier version. So yeah, intrinsic motivation is more about personal development, being better than I was yesterday. Extrinsic is more about the external rewards, money, status, hardware. So let me ask you this, Elliott. How can unconditional love facilitate intrinsic motivation? And this is parents exhibiting unconditional love to their kids, and then the kids having a stronger sense of intrinsic motivation.
Yeah. One of the things that I think about, Gabe, is unconditional love, like you alluded to earlier, involves support and love through the ups and downs. So, what do I mean by that? Are you only going to give your kiddo batting practice lessons after a poor season? Or are you going to give them extra resources and extra love in great seasons and poor seasons, right? What message are we sending? So, one of the ideas I share with my parents of my clients is let's show our love and let's give resources through the ups and downs. And that message we're sharing is, hey, Billy, I love you, and I'm right there with you. There's going to be some tough seasons. There's going to be some tough at bats, and there's going to be some really lovely moments of success and wins. But I'm going to be there with you throughout both sides. And providing resources and being there through the ups and downs shows unconditional love.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think when you can be consistent, so you're not basing your behavior and I guess types of resources, rewards that you might be offering to your kid, when that's consistent, no matter the outcome of their games and seasons. That's a good way to show, hey, the love doesn't change based on how you're playing. And another set of, I guess, effects you might see in kids that can understand their parents love them unconditionally is they're going to be less afraid of failure because they're not afraid of their parents ripping into them after a game or just treating them differently because they didn't play well, or they're not going to be afraid of their parents walking out of their game mid game because they're not playing well. So being less afraid of failure, they're going to be more willing to take risks, which is going to expand their skill set. And look at that, expand increase their potential for success. And I mean, less when you can manage fear of failure, you're doing something right. So I think this unconditional love has a big role in that.
Yeah, beautifully said. And you're talking about a theme that let's dig at a little bit here. The theme of putting our student athlete in position to be successful, right? All of these strategies we're talking about, this relief, this lower anxiety, this comfort, this freedom that we give our student athlete, guess what? That leads to performance.
Yeah.
So not only are we talking about well-adjusted kiddos, we're talking about ways to improve their performance. When I think of an athlete who plays free and plays for the love of the game and is comfortable and confident, yeah, I'm going to put my money on them to execute and to earn that varsity roster spot, to earn that scholarship, to earn the spot on the A team. Why? Because we set them up for success, and these parenting strategies set up our kiddos for success.